Hello world, this is Kimberly and Connor Tracy over here at Big Red SEO on this Friday. Gosh, Connor, it's the first Friday of December 2019. Can you believe that?
Not only can I believe that, but we also started on time.
Oh, yay! I mean, talk about busting out some goals, right? Like, I don't know about you guys on your end, what you got going on. On our end, we actually ramp up and get pretty busy October, November, December. I mean, we found a way to structure our business where we're busy all year round, but like right now it's kind of interesting seeing some people that like they're like starting to slow down business wise, and then we're full throttle business wise. So they're like, hey, what's going on? How are you? Where are you going on vacation? And we're like, not just yet, but in January, February. Totally different story.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, Bruce.
You joined right on time, buddy.
I think we need to go visit Bruce.
I think we do,
I think we do. Bruce, we need to go to dinner. Like, we need to come out and see you.
We need the snow not to be there, though. So
easy. Somebody likes snow. I like snow. I like snow until, so side note, last week, I decided to open the sunroof to let our dog, Miss Bailey's, experience our sunroof. And I forgot that it snowed the night before and I did not clean off the roof. So as you can imagine, in this nice new vehicle, all this shit ton of snow came falling down the sunroof, and both me and Bailey's look at each other at the same time. And it was like, did you just do that? Yes, you did. So you guys kind of know what happens in Kim's world. Like that happens quite often.
It's been probably 3 or 4 years since you've had a sunroof in the car.
It's been a while. It's been a while for sure. Hey, lovely. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, it's been a while since I've had one, but it was quite hilarious when it happened. And I just chuckled, like snort laughed. I was like, oh my gosh, how could somebody do that? But then I did it. And it was like amazing. And I was like, okay, I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget that scenario.
One more reason to have a camera in your car.
No, like we talked about that at one point of having a reality show. We have so many people that are like, you guys should totally do a reality show. And I'm like, man, I don't think I could be. I think if I had cameras around me all the time, I don't know if the funniness would come through as often, right? Like, because
your unfunniness would come through like normal.
It would. It would be like, meh, and I'll be like, okay, please forgive me. Like, I'm sorry. I'm hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. So, who knows? Who knows what the future holds in reality? Who knows? Well, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. For those that are actually live, welcome. For those that tune in a replay, we appreciate you circling back around.
And for those tuning in on YouTube, there's a button over there.
Is it by my logo?
It's right there.
Is it by my shirt logo?
It should be right there.
So I can make a very inappropriate thing right now, but we won't go there. But yeah,
click that button to subscribe so that you get notified on the next channel or on the next video.
You want to see my muscle? I thought I really failed that one. I'm like, just forgive it. See, that's the reality stuff, guys. Like, it was like, oh, that's just not even planned. But hey, so the theme this week today for you guys is talking about the updates within the search engines. We're going to hone in on Google. We always do, right? Like we do get different information. We were asked last week about, well, what about the rest of the search engines? We totally get it. We get the information from them. However, they don't have as strict rules and regulations and guidelines and best practices as Google does. So we always go cream to the crop and then like learn that and apply that information and bring that knowledge, because if you can get into that realm, then everything else is going to trickle down and you're going to be awesome and solid in your online marketing, right?
Yeah, Google has more restrictions than like Bing would. So there are things that'll happen on Bing that are not quite implemented fully on Google.
Yep.
And as a result, you can get decent rankings over there. Once they finally catch up to what Google is doing and then they start restricting things, then it gets a little tougher over there. But for the most part, at least when we look at the guidelines to follow and so forth, it's the Google stuff first, and then everything else follows in second. And really, right now, there's only Bing. And then if you're outside of the US, you've got Yandex and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Yahoo is not a factor.
Yahoo! Who remembers that sound when you would log into Yahoo Messenger?
Not me.
I was in college at that time, and it was the coolest sound ever. I was like, oh my gosh, my computer talks to me, and it says Yahoo! The same thing happened in AOL, but it was a different sound. It was a totally different stop. Oh, he said, can't stop watching Rickman hands above Kim's head. I love it. Okay, awesome. So, Connor, let's dive in. If you could kind of explain, like, really quickly what you're going to cover in today's episode, just so people know, because you guys, I don't know if you checked on our last video or not, but this guy took his knowledge from his Google Campus Day, and he actually broke the last video up in segments so you can actually click between stuff. So we're going to have him set the agenda right now, and then you guys can go back and click through all the things if you have a specific idea or whatever.
So if you go to YouTube, and this is probably a good time to put
the YouTube
one
Dilly.
of these things
the
in
YouTube.
There we go.
That's right there.
That's our
like,
Facebook.
Right there. Because it's the opposite. It's the opposite.
So the important one coming up right there. Like, that's the YouTube one. Okay.
It's the opposite.
So if you go to the YouTube channel, so this is episode 83.
83.
So in
high five.
82.
That wasn't a very serious high five.
Nick's
live. Hi, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Give Nick a high five.
There you go.
Or he just...
All right. So anyways, if you go into episode 82, so you can go to Google, youtube.com/BigRedSEO, and then episode 82, we've got it broken out now that you can jump between the different segments. So we were talking last week about what?
Organization.
There you go.
And how, so here's the deal. The reason, well, one, he was on the Google campus, right? And he got a bunch of different training with the engineers, and they were talking about, hey, instead of transcribing the entire video, which has been a trend for gosh knows how long, and if you want more information, check previous episodes, but it's been a trend for so long, but actually what they want is they want stuff separated in segments, and they want it to be more of a storytelling thing, right? One, because, well, our area is business owners are super, super busy. You guys we cover a shit ton in one like episode, and so you might want to bounce and jump around on what you're trying to learn. So there's some cool stuff. So if you're interested, or if you've done video, check out the last episode and then come back to this episode and see, because Connor's actually like laid out the structure, and you can actually do it for your own business as well. It's not very hard.
Yeah. So it's a two-pronged approach. So
two-pronged.
And again, so this week we're talking about Google updates.
Yep.
So it's anything that happened in the search engine, anything that happened at Google in general, and then some tips and things that you can do within your own website itself. And one of the things, when I was out with Google, one of the things that they were talking about was breaking down the videos so you could do what's called a time hop.
Yeah. So
you could jump from one section of the video to another section of the video and be able to pick up the important things. Now, this has always been present inside of YouTube. A lot of people don't take the time to fill it out, but if you go listen to like a music playlist, like a song that's been like an hour and a half or a 2-hour collection, and usually what they'll do, they'll break down the different songs so that you can skip from one section to another.
Right.
Okay. So that's always been present inside of YouTube. But the new thing that's coming out, it's a video schema markup directly on your website. So you can now include...
Take a moment to get really excited there. I'm really excited.
I did.
Like he's like, boom, it's like an explosion. He's got a terminology for it now.
Yeah.
Scroll down there because we got Nick that came in and Donna. Hey, thanks for joining. Angie, thanks for joining, guys.
You got Rick, you got Angie, you got Donna. Hey, guys. So anyway, so now there's a video schema markup. It's coming out for everybody. Right now, it's only for designated publishers. Hi there.
Hi there.
I got one of those. But it will be rolled out to the general public here soon.
Yeah.
Soon is the only wording I can give you.
Yeah.
So basically, inside of your schema markup, you can now define what the sections are on your website itself.
Yeah.
Google can now use those parts and use it in what's called the rich snippets. So when you ask a question inside of Google, how do I change a light bulb?
Yeah.
Sounds really basic what to do, but there's a couple of steps in changing a light bulb. But now you can skip to different sections within the video.
You don't want me to change the light bulb, y'all. Like, let's just, if you're just now tuning in, welcome. You have to go all the way back to the very beginning of the Facebook Live to know why you don't want me to change the light bulb.
Here's the thing. If you ask Kim to change a light bulb, usually the second question is, what is the hammer for?
Or the potato, right? Because like if you break a light bulb, there, like in theory, you put a potato into the glass. That didn't work for me. Like I don't know who came up with that idea, but I watched a YouTube video and it did not come out the way that it was supposed to come out.
No, tennis balls opening up car doors doesn't work either. But hey, There's enough fake stuff on YouTube to keep you busy.
Side note, the thing that does work, it doesn't work for me, it works for him. But you did the remote open your car with your chin.
Yes.
Like we were far, far away from the car and he was like, Kim, unlock the car. And I was like, it's too far. He was like, no, put it up against your chin. And I did it and it didn't work. And I was like, ha ha ha, you're funny. And he grabs the keys and he does it under his chin. And every single time it unlocks for him.
It's that using your head as an antenna thing.
Yeah. Is it like your energy frequency?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
We've slightly gotten off track and that's
background.
Okay. So today we're covering Google updates and all the different things. Well, some of the different things that have happened throughout November and the first week here of December. One of the big things that just happened just the other day was that Sergey Brin and Larry Page have now stepped down out of their CEO and president roles.
That was interesting. I gotta be
Google
honest.
and with Alphabet. You know, these are the two guys that actually started everything in their dorm room in...
Way back when. We don't even want to say. We don't even want to say.
I think it was 96, I think is when they started, 96 or 98.
We'll just move on. Like it's not even...
So anyway, they're the guys that actually started everything. They've been a key part all the way through with how Google and Alphabet are progressing. But one of the things that they've said all over the years was that they're led by a team, not by an individual. And that one of their core principles has been that at a certain point, you as the team leader or you as the CEO, that role doesn't need to exist because the individuals that are there will actually keep the company moving forward. It's not necessarily an ideas thing or anything else. It's that you just don't need to have that one guy at the top.
Right.
And it's a group of people that are leading it.
Which kind of goes with their culture, right? Like that's the thing about Google is they're a big on team, right?
And in saying all of that, they stepped out and another guy stepped in too.
It's like you gotta love the first like press release that comes out and says, hey, we're announcing this new structure, and then the next one of the new hire. Yeah.
Well, he wasn't a new hire. Basically, his role has now morphed into accepting the president and CEO roles, which are being disbanded, but he'll be the guy to be in contact. So anyway, that's one of the big things that happened. So
if you're in a technical SEO world, that's worth going and finding more information out about. Just FYI, because your clients might hear rumbles in it. Right. But it's always good from a technical, if you're an agency, you're a freelancer, you're a contractor, whatever you are, this is stuff to like go into your Google updates and kind of just get some notifications of this is what's going on and what's shaking.
Well, the thing that'll be interesting about this is they stepped down for what?
Right.
And that's really where the question is. What are they doing or what's going to happen next? Because you don't just step out of a role because, well, you know, I'm tired of doing this for 20 years. Yeah. Actually, you do. You can step out of those roles for that.
You could. It'll be interesting to find out who within your realm of people, I'm not going to say names, that's going to tune in on this video and send you a private message. Be like, okay, cool.
So, anyway, so that has nothing to do with the search engine updates as such, but more just Google in general. So
it's fun stuff in our world.
Yeah.
Hey, look at everybody joining.
Yep, we got a bunch of people in there. Hey, guys.
If you see me over here, I'm actually inviting other cool people into the whole world. So just FYI, I'm not ignoring you. I promise. Okay, so, Connor.
One of the big things, and we talked about it last month.
Yeah.
We talked about BERT.
BERT, I love the name. Okay, first off, side note, this might be a lot of distractions today. I'm sorry. They did it by animals at first, and then it became maybe they'll do the thing that they did with the hurricanes, where they actually gave them first names, last names. So BERT, I know, is a first name. However, I always think of Sesame Street. So I'm super excited about BERT. I know it doesn't stand for Sesame Street or anything close.
What about Burt Reynolds?
That's a B-U-R-T though, isn't it? Burt Reynolds is spelled with an E. Yeah. Okay, is Burt, so here, move the thing. Y'all, is Burt Reynolds spelled with an E-R-T or a U-R-T? I think it's a U-R-T. I'm not going to Google it. Have somebody put it in the thing. Maybe they know.
I won't Google it, but that's okay.
Yeah. Okay, carry on. Anyway. It reminds me of Sesame Street. Sorry.
So last month we talked quite a bit about the BERT update. And for those that don't remember, it had to do with, and I wrote it down because I have to keep writing this one down.
Because it's a word. It's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful. It's the bidirectional encoder representations from transformers. Okay. And it really what it has to do with, it's the individual words and how that plays a factor in the search results. And we'll dig through that. But the big thing that came out just in the last little bit, the end of November, was the Google update for November 2019. That is what they're calling it.
Yeah.
The Google update for November 2019. Okay. And what this update was, it affects not just your local rankings, not just your map pack, but also the national rankings. And really what it has to do with, it's a focus on the neural matching, neural matching.
Not neutral.
Not neutral, not natural. It kind of has to do with...
I went and chased him down and be like, did you spell this word wrong? Is it supposed to be neutral?
So it kind of has to do with the... and we talked about it before, the neural linguistics programming or the natural language programming, NLP. And it has to do with different things, how they're used in context and what role that plays in changing the entire sentence.
Right.
Okay. So we're going to cover that. But before we cover that update, I've got to go back a little bit to the other two big updates that make this happen. And nobody responded to your...
they might have been like, done.
Hey, we've got Solomon in there. Hey, dude.
Hey, Solomon.
How's it going?
Hey, I wonder, is he still in Vegas? Maybe?
I don't know.
Oh.
Let us know if you're still in Vegas. But anyway, so going all the way back, if we take the latest update from November 2019, we've got the BERT update, which was at the end of October, beginning of November 2019, but it all really goes back to 2015 with what's called Rank Brain.
Yep.
And if you go back one step before that, it was called Hummingbird. Now, Hummingbird is the entire algorithm of Google. Okay, so if you think of it like a car, Hummingbird is the engine. Okay, then there were all these other little updates that happened. I say little, but some of them were huge. Panda, Penguin,
Pigeon.
Panda 2, Pigeon. All these different things, if you treat them from like the no. It's like she wasn't even listening, guys.
I thought we were playing categories.
No. So the Panda, Penguin, Pigeon, all those things, if you treat them like the car analogy, they would be all your extras, like your oil filter, your turbochargers and stuff like that, okay?
Take a breath.
Rank Brain was the engine. No, sorry. Hummingbird was the engine. There we go. Rank Brain is another add-on onto everything. So what Rank Brain was, and I've got a couple notes over here, so you'll see my eyes darting back and forth. But the Rank Brain was used to interpret the words from a page that may not have had the words on the page. So what I mean by that is that it wouldn't have had the exact words. So it's what was called stemming. And so if you did a search for a shoe, then Google knew that you were also looking for shoes.
Okay. Singular and plural.
And if the other side of things, if you did a search for running or running shoes, then Google knew that you're also looking for the word run. So that's what Rank Brain had to do with. It was stemming the words from different things in not an exact match, but using that to find other phrases within the page. Okay? That is Rank Brain. Let me double check back over here.
See if anybody has any questions.
Kansas City, Solomon. Nice job, dude.
I lived there for 8 years. That city's cool. City is cool. They probably did a lot of construction, though, since I lived there.
Well, we know they had to rebuild the entire apartment.
Because I think we've been here like 9 years now. Yeah,
something like that.
Super cool.
All right, so that was Rank Brain. It again, it had to do with the stemming and stuff like that. If you think of it like a synonym, it was the Smarts Edition is what they called it. So Google then started to understand that sneakers also meant running shoes. And it started to get a little bit smarter and figure out that Apple, when you're searching for an apple, were you searching for the technology company or were you searching for a fruit?
Does that go off of your history?
No, that's a different add-on that happened then. Cool. So that's all basically what happened with Rank Brain, right? So that was back in 2015, like I said. So then the next major update that happened was BERT.
BERT?
So again, bidirectional encoder representations from transformers. Say it with me.
Sesame Street. No.
So what the BERT had to do, it's dealing with the natural natural language processing, or the NLP, and it helps Google understand nuances and context.
Okay.
One of the things that we used the last time we talked about how to catch a cow fishing. So the context of that is actually about fishing.
You remember so little when it comes to house stuff, but you can remember that. It blows my mind.
Of course. And you yelled out catfish for some unknown reason. But anyway, what's going on with that? Before, when you did the search, you would find pictures of cows and stuff like that. But in New England, a cow is referred to as a largemouth bass.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I referred to the barn door. So if you're fishing in Alaska and you tell a buddy, oh, I caught a real barn door, a huge barn door, you're talking about a halibut. Halibut's a flat fish. It's a pain in the ass to bring up to the top of the surface. It feels like you're reeling in a barn door. So that's where all that comes in. So that's only part of how the BERT system worked. So one of the other things, the example searches that Google gave, if somebody typed in a search, 2019 Brazil traveler to USA need a visa. Okay, so that search can kind of go all over the place. But the item in there, the transformer in there is the word to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's somebody coming from Brazil to the USA, do they need a visa?
Okay.
In the past, Google would look at that. They would see USA, visa, Brazil. They would assume that it's a U.S. citizen going to Brazil, and do you need a visa? But in fact, it was the opposite, entirely the opposite system. Okay. Another example was, do estheticians stand a lot at work?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the problem was that Google couldn't understand the word stand.
Okay.
So Google was returning the results for a medical esthetician versus a spa esthetician. So while it is kind of right in the realm of what you're asking, it really wasn't what you were asking. You wanted to know, do they stand a lot?
Yeah.
So now, because of BERT, the page is now returned. There's a posting that's on there for estheticians, the physical demand. And it talks about what's required from somebody if they are an esthetician.
Okay.
So another search, completely different. Can you get medicine for someone at a pharmacy? Okay, so Google.
How would they get confused about that? That seems pretty straightforward.
Because Google was picking up the word pharmacy, and if you breeze over the sentence, can you get medicine at a pharmacy?
Oh, so you don't see the for someone.
You don't see for someone.
Oh,
okay.
Fascinating.
So now it understands, well, can you pick it up for somebody? And there's situations where you can and can't. But and then the other thing was parking on a hill with no curb. And Google would return results on how to park with the curb, because it didn't understand that word no.
Okay.
So all of that has to do with the context. And that is basically what the entire BERT system was all about.
Okay.
Okay. So that's BERT. Now, the update from last month. Are you guys still with me? I hope so, because Kim's no longer with me.
I'm inviting people. People are tuning in. Hello, people. Thanks for tuning in. Super excited.
The latest update, and it's called neural matching. And you can think of it as synonyms, as a super synonym system. Let's try that one 3 times. But basically what it's doing, it's one of the big updates that they've done.
Mm-hmm.
But it's replacing words with other words. So how do I change a PDF into a Word doc? Well, the word change could mean convert.
Okay.
So how do I convert? And if you keep that word change, how do I change memory on a laptop? How do I change a light bulb? Well, that could mean install. That could mean, replace.
Mm-hmm.
How do I change the brightness on a monitor? That could mean adjust.
Okay.
So that word change is the powerful context of what's happening in the search. And Google then has to understand, what did you mean by change? Okay. And from an SEO perspective, and this is now what you can do within your website to take advantage of these, you can... Yeah.
Let's just take everything in your brain, y'all. Take a deep breath, take everything in your brain now. Now you get it. Now you get to go. Thanks for tuning in, Loveline. See you on the replay. Now let it go through. What is the action behind all of that massive genius?
Yes, so all of that information that I've just spewed out at you guys, or to you guys, not
For you guys.
Depending on the bidirectional encoder transformer there, it could be at or to, right? So there you go. But that's essentially what Google's doing. It's the context of the words and what the words actually mean. And one of the things that you can do from an SEO perspective is help Google understand that.
Okay.
So instead of using the word change, maybe at different points in the article you talk about adjusting and installing and changing and replacing, because all of that plays into the same role. You know, I was trying to do a search with regards to Photoshop the other day. I had an alias outline that happened around the edge of the photo. Couldn't get rid of it. It's like 1 pixel. It just annoyed me. No one else sees it except for me. But
for me, because my attention to detail is like wicked.
Well, you have to zoom in to like 1200% and whatever. So I was the only one seeing this. So trying to do a search for how to get rid of the transparency around a border of an image, and every search that came back was all about transparency in images, how to add a border, not remove, things like that. So structuring the sentences within your website that not only match what the query is from the user, but also variations of what that query might be. That's going to help move along your SEO and improve those environments for you. Google is going to do its best to replace words or interchange words as needed, but you can do Google a favor and actually put that information on your page. You know, when we talk about content on a website, when we talk about blogs, and we talk about pages in general, 250 words is what Google says is your absolute minimum. That they can understand what a page is about within 250 words. Our recommendation has always been 450 words.
Or more.
Try get to 700. I'm not saying you've got to have 2,000 word blog article.
However, if you do, that's even better.
Yeah, the more words you've got on there, the more expansive or the more explaining that's done, provided that you've answered what the query is for the user. So if you're talking about replacing a light bulb, you may not be able to get 4,000 words. I mean, it just doesn't have that much volume behind it. But now you can expand out that how to change a light bulb into how to change an LED light bulb, how to change an incandescent light bulb. And that starts to make up what that entire article is about. And then you start to interchange words between replace, repair, install, change, all those different parts. And that's essentially what the BERT system is doing, what now the neural matching system is doing. It's trying to act more like a person, to understand the nuances of words.
Yeah, and really quickly to wrap up in the content creation thing, guys, you can actually do really long volume content. The search engines actually love it. The thing is that don't just stuff the content to stuff it. Don't just make content to freaking make content. It's not going to help anybody. It's not going to help your customers, your prospects see that you're an authority or your industry leader. However, the fastest way to become the leader in your industry and within the eyes of the search engines is to lean in and actually provide knowledge, data, value to your end users. So if they're wanting to learn, like maybe they want to be energy efficient light bulbs, right? And then like you can actually write the information. Don't copy and paste from somebody else's website. You could actually spin it into your own version, right? And then have it in your own words. But start with your commonly, frequently asked questions that your clients come to you, right? Like start there in the content creation. But the 450 words or more is like a threshold where the search engines can figure out what's the subject that you're talking about, who are you actually talking to, right? Who's the persona of that one client? What is it that you want them to do? How are you going to be able to help them? How are you even the industry expert in the first place, right? And by the way, what's the next step that they're supposed to do after they read the article? Because there's so much content in a website that just keeps on going, and then it talks and then it drops off. So it's like you show up for your first date and I'm like, hey, my name's Kimberly Tracy, and then I spin around and I leave. Like I'm not telling people, hey, you want to sit down and have dinner, right?
That kind of how our first date was.
No, we met on Match.com. If y'all don't know that way you guys know that. But our first meet, he doesn't call it a first date. He says it's classified as a meet. It was like 7 hours long.
I lived in California for 20 years, and there's rules to what you would call a date.
It was 7+ hours long. I classify that as a date. I got it in the bag. Boom. All right. Next update. I got you to put a ring on it. Next update. Google update.
That's
it?
Really,
that's it.
When you look at the entire month, that was really the whole core of the updates. There is one really cool update that happened that I enjoy, and it only has to do with the Pixel phones. So the Google Pixel.
Okay.
So, of course, I've got a Pixel because I'm a Google fan. No, it's a great phone, so I use it. But I've got the Google Pixel 2 XL, which is an older phone. But Google came out with a recorder, so you could actually do your voice recording. There's thousands of apps online for recording audio.
Yeah.
But what Google has done with this app is that as you're talking, it will do translation or transcription for you.
Okay.
So it'll actually put all the words as you're talking. It'll record, or at the end of everything, it saves both the audio and the transcription so that you can replay and do that. It does kind of pick up individual voices, so it can differentiate them. It's not that great at that part, but I'm sure that'll come on. But the awesome thing about it all is that the what are you doing? So the awesome thing about all of that is that it all happens offline. You don't have to be connected to the web to get those transcription services in there. So right now it's only available on the Google Pixel. That's the 4, the 4A, the 4XL, the 3, the 3A, the 3XL, the 2, the 2XL, but not the A, and the original Google Pixel, which nobody has.
Yeah.
So that eventually will roll out to all the other phones. But right now, that was really an awesome update for me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So Art had a question here
Art.
at the very top.
Hey, Art.
He said, just joining, which I think that was a long time ago before you started talking, right? But he said, just joining. Sorry if I'm being off topic. Connor, I read your impressions about the Google conference events.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't a question. Maybe it was a comment. And then he said, well, they are still on the board of directors, so they aren't moving too far.
Yes.
Yeah.
That Larry Page and Sergey, they are still very much involved with what Google is. They've just stepped down out of that CEO and president role. They are very much in charge of where the company is headed, but they're just taking a little step back from where they were.
Now, the cool thing about that is he actually did it as the Facebook party live comments, which is different than the screen that we have on right now.
Yeah,
so
I've
if you do have
one.
comments in there, like, feel free to let us know if we did not answer your question. We did have a client call today, though, that I do want to share with people if they are seeking or looking to do Google services. Yes. And then, like, can you briefly talk, I don't want to talk about who the client was and all that jazz, but can you briefly talk about the question that they had with whenever they're a Google services provider, what that is first off, and then the reviews situation and how it's split off different.
Sure.
Okay.
So the item at hand, it was the Google Home Services. So Google has an entire section, and I just thought of something else. So remind me shipping in a little bit. Okay. So Google has an entire section for home services. And what this is, it's pre-screening for anybody that enters your home. So we're talking carpet cleaners,
plumbers,
remodelers, plumbers, house cleaners, painters, you name it, it's all in there. Anybody who comes into your house.
I keep wanting to say the same word as you do, but you've already said it, so I stop myself. So my mouth goes to open to say something, and I'm like, oh, he already said that. So
anyway, what this Google Home Services is that they will pre-screen the individuals coming to your house.
Yeah.
It's also part of their lead system. So instead of buying Google Ads, like how we would set up Google Ads, you could now buy just the leads, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But you're going to pay more.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with plumbing situations,
they handle the whole thing, right? Start to finish.
You can do Google Ads with plumbing, and it's $3-4 a click, or you can do a guaranteed lead, and it's $15.
Yeah.
So does it make sense?
And that's like that number may or may not be accurate, right? That's just an example.
That number may or may not be accurate depending on where it is you are, depending on the time of day that you do your search,
and what industry,
and what your past history was,
and if you're cool or not. No, I'm just joking. You don't have to be cool. I mean, those that are not cool, it's okay. It'll be the same price. Same price.
So anyways, with that whole Google Home Services, when you get a service done, you can then leave a review for both the interaction of the service, how easy it was to use Google services, and then also leave a review for the company that performed whatever service it is for you.
Right.
Okay. That is not the same as a Google review. Okay, that is a review on the Google Home Services. Google Reviews has to do with your business listing in general.
Okay.
So when you do a search online for Big Red SEO, on the right-hand side, they have what's called the Knowledge Panel.
Okay.
And the Knowledge Panel has your logo, business information, hours, phone number, a map. For us, we have posts in there. You've got pictures in there. You've got videos in there. So all these, there's questions and answers.
Q&A.
Fill those out too.
Yep.
But all of that basically, those reviews are for that section there.
Mm-hmm.
And the Google Home Services reviews, that is a completely separate identity or segment.
It goes into a different bucket, guys. So like if for whatever reason you do Google services, that's super cool. We've seen a lot of people get really great experience of it. We've seen other people in industries that don't really get great experience with it, right? So it's worth testing if you are in a trades industry just to see what makes the right fit for you. But from that standpoint, you got to realize that the reviews are in a separate bucket. So what we recommend is if you do get reviews through the Google services review area, copy those reviews because you could use those into your social media posts. You can actually use them into your own website. However, if you ever cancel the Google services, it kind of gets hidden away. They don't ever get deleted from what we can tell so far.
Right.
However, it does get paused and it gets taken off the online area because you're no longer paying for that service, if that makes sense. So the thought process is you could still utilize those reviews, the customer name and all that information, just copy and paste it and shift it somewhere else, right?
And put it directly in your website for that matter.
Yep, for sure.
So keeping on to all of that. So anyway, that's where the reviews were.
Yeah, so the next thing is you said, remind you of shipping.
Shipping.
But before you go there, thank you everybody for tuning in. Like we had Rick join and Donna. We already had Angie there. Hey, Angie, Jeremy, and Aiden
is there.
Hey, and then Adriana tuned in, Diana tuned in, Liz, yay, super excited. Allison tuned in.
Move that up, you see more of the screen.
Well, don't ask too much for me at the moment. Okay, so shipping. Let's talk about shipping.
So
you had some idea.
I did. It's one more part of the updates that have happened in the last month.
Yeah.
And it's just in time for Christmas shopping. Woohoo!
Hey, I like Christmas shopping, but not really for the Christmas part.
So you know when you do either your UPS or your FedEx or your USPS, and you get a tracking number, okay, for where to track your product, and then you would go to UPS.com or wherever, and you type in what that tracking number is, and off you go. Now you can just take that tracking number, dump it directly on a Google search, and Google has fully integrated with the search with the shipping places. And it'll provide all the tracking information right on your Google search.
That's super fucking creepy. I gotta be honest.
So there is an option to save that tracking event. So the next time you go back to Google, it'll still continue to give you the status as you go through. So you no longer have to enter in that number. Yeah. I think it's kind of cool, actually. But it's being used more than just for the UPS and FedEx shipping end of things. They've tied into some of the logistics places. Yeah. So we're talking the big shipping, the shipping of containers, the shipping of using a freight transport, a trucking system. Mm-hmm. All of that tracking information can now be done directly through Google. I think it's an awesome update. Yeah. Cool. How many people will actually use it?
Well, for those that like to have access to stuff really quick and really fast, like we have some clients. Hey, Laura, thanks so much for tuning in. We have some clients that like to just have it super simple in one screen, tap and go. And so I think that's going to be the benefit of those types of clientele that will actually like it and enjoy it. So like you, for sure, he uses Google so much that it's like ridiculous. Like I'm surprised his phone hasn't tuned on every time he says Google because it's programmed.
I was thinking of
however, well, yeah. So, however, like it'll be interesting how that flows out. Like there's a couple little concerns I have. However, we'll see how it ripples out, right? Yeah. It might actually benefit just the overall good of everybody in the shipping world. And who knows, maybe costs will get optimized now or something like that.
You know, it's another one of those things where they're testing.
Hey, Cameron,
And
thanks for tuning in.
Google is always testing what's going on. So right
Yeah.
now that shipping thing is just one more test.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Super cool.
How come you get notices and I don't get the notices?
You gotta keep scrolling down.
No, I'm at the bottom.
I know. I don't know how to operate that cool machine. He's got a cool machine, guys, and it's like super. It does things, and I don't know what those things are. I tried once, and I'm like, no, it's too much for me. It's too much system, too much process.
We have 4 devices here now.
Yeah, we do. We are
everything,
definitely tech people. That is no lie. No lie. Well, hey, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you guys want the play-by-play on this video, Connor is going to take it and put it into YouTube, and then he will actually transcribe some different informations and scenarios. We actually have it built into our website as well. So that's actually where the original transcribe is going to go. So if you don't have time to watch a video and you'd rather read it, which we have readers, thank you guys. Feel free to go over there for sure.
BigRedSEO.com/videos is where those videos are. Or if you just go down the homepage, there's a listing or a scrolling of the videos and you can click there to see more videos.
Yep, for sure. Okay, and then next week, we're actually going to roll up our sleeves and we're actually going to talk to you guys about some strategies. So we'll pick one strategy, we'll dive into it. It will be business wrapped around. It may be marketing, it might be sales. Who knows what it is?
You know what? This is a perfect opportunity if we're going to be talking about strategy for next week.
Yeah.
So if you've made it this far in the video, we want to hear from you. So leave a message, a private message.
Are you going to give them the option to pick the strategy?
Leave a private message and let us know what it is you want to hear about. And we'll do our best.
That's like winning the Willy Wonka's golden ticket.
Yeah. But you have to make it all the way to the end of the video.
Send it. Yeah, you have to make it to the end of the video and send it private message, right? So send a private message. If you want us to give you kudos for the strategy, we'll give it to you. Yeah, let us know. We have some clients that like to stay incognito, if that makes sense. And here's the deal.
But then Kim just reads off their names anyway. No, I'm kidding.
No, so with that, like if you do want a specific strategy, send a private message to myself, Connor, or the Big Red SEO Facebook page, right? Let us know if you want us to say your name or not. And here's the deal, since it's a strategy and he opened the can of worms, you guys can ask anything and everything.
It can be anything you want.
So bring it on.
How to make a cake.
With that being said,
hey,
we
Kim
will
said anything.
tune in.
We'll make it anything.
Next Friday at 1 p.m. Central. In the meantime, guys, follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook.
And then the button over
right
there.
Maybe if it's going to be YouTube, yeah.
So if it's on YouTube, that's where the button is. Click that for subscribe, and you'll be notified the next video that goes on.
In the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
All right, guys. Alrighty. Have a great day now. Bye. Thank you so much.